Most people in the UK still believe property is the safest way to build wealth. But in 2026, thousands of landlords are selling up, not because property stopped working, but because the rules completely changed. Higher mortgage rates, higher taxes, more regulation. The question is no longer, should you buy property? The real question is, does buy-to-let still make financial sense anymore? For years, buy-to-let was seen as the ultimate middle-class wealth strategy in the UK. People bought one rental property, watched house prices rise, collected monthly rent, and slowly built long-term wealth. The system looked simple. Property values increased over time, interest rates stayed low, and mortgage payments were manageable. But the environment that created those results no longer exists in 2026. Interest rates are much higher than they were a decade ago. Taxation rules became stricter, and landlords now face far more legal and financial responsibilities. Many people are still entering the market using assumptions from 2015, while the numbers today are completely different. That gap between old expectations and current reality is where many investors now make expensive mistakes. The biggest shock for most first-time landlords is how expensive buy-to-let has become before the property even earns income. The first major cost is the stamp duty surcharge on second properties. In 2026, that additional tax sits at 5%, which means a £200,000 property immediately creates a £10,000 tax bill. Then comes the deposit requirement, solicitor fees, surveys, insurance, furnishing costs, and emergency reserves. After that, the mortgage itself becomes the next pressure point. Buy-to-let mortgage rates now commonly sit at between 4.5 and 6%. That dramatically changes monthly cash flow compared to the ultra-low interest years. Many beginners underestimate how quickly profit margins shrink once all these costs are included realistically instead of emotionally. One of the most important changes to UK property investing was Section 24. Before these tax reforms, landlords could deduct mortgage interest from rental income before calculating tax. That made leveraged property investing extremely powerful. But today, individual landlords can no longer fully deduct mortgage interest in the same way. Instead, they receive only a limited tax credit. This sounds technical, but the impact is massive. A property that appears profitable before tax can become barely profitable after tax, especially for higher-rate taxpayers. Some landlords are now paying tax even when their actual cash flow feels weak. This is one of the biggest reasons many experienced landlords began exiting the market. The property may still rise in value long-term, but short-term cash flow became far less attractive. The legal environment for landlords also changed significantly. In England, the abolition of Section 21, no-fault evictions, completely altered the relationship between landlords and tenants. Under the newer rules, removing problematic tenants can take far longer and become far more expensive. If rent payments stop, legal recovery can stretch across months while mortgage payments continue. For landlords operating with small margins, a single difficult tenancy can wipe out years of profit. On top of this, energy efficiency requirements continue becoming stricter. Many older UK properties currently fail future EPC standards expected by 2030. Upgrading insulation, heating systems, windows, or boilers may cost thousands of pounds. These future compliance costs are often ignored by beginners focused only on rental income projections. Because of these changes, many UK investors are now comparing property against alternatives like index funds and REITs. A globally diversified index fund allows investors to own shares across hundreds or thousands of companies worldwide, without managing tenants, maintenance, or legal disputes. Historically, global equity markets have delivered strong, long-term returns with far less day-to-day responsibility. REITs also allow investors to gain property exposure without directly owning physical buildings. The biggest difference is liquidity. Selling a property can take months, while selling investments inside an ISA can happen within seconds. Property investing in 2026 is no longer passive. It requires management, cash reserves, emotional control, and constant adaptation to regulations. For many beginners, passive investing systems now offer better risk-adjusted returns. Despite all these challenges, buy-to-let is not dead. It still works under specific conditions. The first is buying in strong-yield areas where rental demand remains high. Cities like Manchester, Leeds, Liverpool, and parts of the Midlands still produce healthier yields than many southern areas. The second is structure. Investors operating through limited companies can often manage taxation more efficiently than individuals because mortgage interest may still be treated differently inside a business structure. The third factor is scale. One property with weak margins is risky. A larger portfolio spreads maintenance costs, vacancy risk, and cash flow pressure across multiple properties. The investors still succeeding in 2026 are usually those treating property like a business system, not a simple side investment. So, is buy-to-let still worth it in 2026? The honest answer is yes for some people, but absolutely not for everyone. Property investing today requires stronger numbers, larger reserves, better planning, and realistic expectations. The easy money years of cheap borrowing and rapidly rising profits are largely gone. For many beginners, putting money into diversified investments through tax-efficient accounts may produce comparable returns with far less complexity and stress. But for disciplined investors who understand taxation, structure, yield analysis, and long-term risk management, property can still play an important role inside a broader wealth-building strategy. The biggest mistake now is assuming buy-to-let automatically creates wealth. In 2026, successful investing depends less on emotion and far more on accurate numbers. The biggest mistake new buy-to-let investors make in 2026 is entering the market based on emotion instead of calculations. Many people still buy property because it feels safer than stocks or because they believe property always goes up. But successful investing cannot rely on feelings. It must rely on numbers. Before buying any property, investors should calculate realistic rental income after every possible expense: mortgage interest, taxes, repairs, insurance, maintenance, letting agent fees, void periods, legal costs, and future EPC upgrades. A property that looks profitable on social media may produce very little real cash flow in reality. The investors who survive long-term are not the most optimistic people. They are the people who plan conservatively, manage risk properly, and understand that wealth building is a long-term system, not a quick shortcut. If you want to understand exactly where beginners should invest their first money in the UK today, including ISAs, index funds, pensions, and property, watch the next video on your screen now. Because building wealth is not about chasing trends. It is about understanding the system before you commit your money.